My name is Marci McDougall. I'm from Technical Safety BC. Who is Technical Safety BC? Well, we follow electricity around on the service side. We follow gas services around, boiler, refrigeration, that kind of thing. I'm going to talk mostly today about electricity because it sounds like people are going to be moving towards that technology to provide the services for their homes predominantly. There will be maybe some gas crossover, and we would be involved in those spaces as well. So we're a regulator. We're mandated through the Safety Standards Act to make sure that the equipment that's being installed in your spaces and homes is done by qualified, certified people to the codes and standards. And I want to acknowledge the Nux-Pumashchin speaking people, sorry, that was a mouthful, and that we acknowledge through technical safety that we are on the lands of many Indigenous people who have been here since time immemorial, and we are guests. Technical safety really, looks at our partnership journey with communities, especially with Lytton being rebuilt. And again, we follow the technology. So some people have asked me, Patrick asked me, he's like, Marci, why do we need a permit through Technical Safety BC if we're on a First Nation and in some rural spaces, especially if we've got solar voltaics, like solar systems, and we're providing our own power? Well, we follow anything that could cause catastrophic damage to persons and property from the technological installation. So we all like to plug things in, we all like to cook and heat hot water and all of those things. All of those appliances and all of those things that run off of technology, when they fail, you lose life and property. So we want to make sure that all of those things, all of those technologies are being installed by qualified people and to the codes and standards to protect your investments and to protect your lives. So it's very important, and it is separate because it takes a special set of skills and expertise to stay abreast of all of those relevant and changing technologies. So our safety system model, we put people at the center of it, and then we have design, manufacturing, disposal, installation, transfer of ownership, repair and alteration, operation and maintenance. These are all things that we embody. We look to reduce safety risks. We also want to make sure that you guys are installing the right size of service. So we vet contractors. We help you find contractors. We make sure they're certified. They give you advice, and you build trust with them, and you rely on those contractors to give you that solid advice. But if you want somebody that's not driven by profit, that has at the cutting edge of industry all of that information that we stay abreast of, then you will contact your local safety officer, electrical or gas, whatever modality you're using, and you will say, David, I have his card here. I'll leave some. David, is a 200 amp service going to be enough for my house? My contractor says 100 amp service will be fine for me, but I want to make sure that I prepare for the future. We all know building and the cost of rebuilding is massive. It's not getting less expensive 10 years from now. A 200 amp service from 10 years ago is double or more the price today with the price of commodities and all the parts and pieces and components than it will be 10 years from now. If you have to revisit it 10 years from now, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So you're better to have vision for your life and your needs now and build for the future for a resilient community, for your technology and all of those things. These are hard decisions for a community that's rebuilding itself. And especially when you're urgent, you feel that sense of disconnection from your home where you've grown up. You want to make sure that you are designing that space and really giving yourself the consideration that you deserve for the future. So we have people that can help with that. We can have people that can support, and we're here to do that. So we do assessments. We make sure that each stage of construction, especially with your technical infrastructure, is being conducted at the right time. If you've got stuff that's going underground, we'll inspect it, make sure it's at the right depth. If you have different grounding issues, there's lots of different things that come into play with the technologies that we regulate. We make sure that research has been done on some of the components that you'll install, and we do that market study to make sure that the technology is safe. Any problems that have come up, we're tracking it, we're monitoring it, and as Inez showed earlier, some of you missed her presentation, but we also track things that fail. We also track hazards that occur, and we make sure that we're educating everybody so that they're not recreated. So we have alternative safety approaches. That's more of like large scale building, large project building. So I'm going to skip over that. We're here, like I said, to supply you with information. You want to look up your house when it was built, you know, back in the 80s or whatever, and know what type of service you had. You should be able to go through our permitting search and find that information. But more importantly, we know that with the destruction of our community, that a lot of those documents and records and everything are not accessible anymore. Technical safety keeps those records and documents in perpetuity and allows you access to them, and you can search them. We also, if you're wondering who's all registered and licensed as a contractor, if you want to find a good electrical contractor or a good gas fitter, you can go on site and we'll have a list of all the people that are certified. If somebody comes along, you can ask for their certification. Do this, ask for their certification. If you want to know that they've taken a permit out, ask them. You want them to take that permit out at the start, not midway. You want to make sure that our safety officers have access to all of the equipment they're installing right from the get-go. And you want to make sure that the electrical service for temporary construction, and this is fueling their equipment, their tools, lighting, heating, all the things required to build your spaces, you want to make sure that nobody's at risk where they're utilizing that temporary construction power. So this is an example. This is up north, but somebody put a portable heater inside of a crawl space. We want to make sure that you're not using outside equipment inside, and this caused a fatality due to carbon monoxide air displacement. So this is in the temporary stages, and I'm speaking to that now because that's where you're all going to start. What do I need in place while the construction's going on? So you want to make sure your contractors are doing their due diligence. So I'm going to make it short and sweet like I promised. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or comments that they want to ask at this time? Yes?
Do you have any involvement in sort of the alternative building modalities, like you seem to have create things like that in here? Is that something that you cover as well?
So when you hire your electrical contractor for hempcrete, there will be phases of building that they will require access to. Or you will be having a surface mount service. So all of your electrical circuits will be ran in conduit, surface mount. If you want them embedded, then your contractor will be involved. So when you use alternative building, the implication really comes into what part of or what phase of that building your contractor needs to get their infrastructure built into. So all you need to do is let your contractor know before they start building, hey, I'm thinking about using hempcrete. What do you recommend? Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Before you take off, Marci, we have a little gift from the Council Village. Everyone, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you. Oh yeah, okay.